All right, so the U.S. beats New Zealand 4-1 in their second Olympic group game to renew our hopes of getting out of the group. I would say now our chances of getting out of the group are likely, right? We still have to beat, a lot depends what happens later today between France and Guinea, but, beat Guinea. It's in our hands. Beat Guinea and we are for sure through, right? Beat Guinea and we are for sure through. Even a draw with Guinea and we could go through, especially if Guinea loses today. There's a world where we lose to Guinea and we still go through. To be very clear, we shouldn't be losing to Guinea or drawing with Guinea. We should be beating them. And even today, although we did win 4-1, I think there's lots of room for improvement with this team. And it is interesting. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but it is interesting how different this team looked when we took off some of the troncos and put on some of the good players. But for whatever reason, Mr. Mitrovic can't seem to see that. So we'll see what happens against Guinea, but I imagine we'll probably see a similar starting lineup to what we saw in these last two games. Overall, though, it's we needed the 3 points today after that, I would say, unfair loss to France. I could see us losing to France, but based on the performance and the chances created, that wasn't a 3-0 loss to France. So you're disappointed with the result, but at least we came back and managed to win against New Zealand. I'll say this. I thought we played better against France than we did against New Zealand. We just didn't get lucky. We didn't finish some of our chances, and we made some mistakes at the back that cost us. But hey, 3 points is 3 points, and last half an hour was a lot more entertaining. I had a lot more fun. I don't know about you guys. I had a lot more fun watching the last half an hour of that game than I did watching the rest of it, because it looked like we were actually a soccer team in that last half an hour. Let's see. Mac Ryan says Robinson and Dietz are so bad. Everyone else is good. No, I don't think everyone else was good, Mac. I don't think everyone else was good. I think there were a lot of poor performances today. Steven Spada says the result was as expected. We have a lot to clean up with bad lapses in play. Shouldn't have conceded and should have gotten more in the net. Yeah, I think we don't look very cohesive as a team. We just don't. We looked okay defensively against France. Going forward, not much, which you could sort of understand against a team with a quality like France. But against New Zealand, it felt like we pounced on their mistakes more than we really created, right? And so that's what I think is kind of disappointing. I don't want to be too down on it because we still got the 3 points, but like we got 3 points against Bolivia in, the Copa America group stage. And I was saying, this is not a good performance. Like, this is a red flag. So, but the difference here is we're probably going to get out of the group. Right? And so that's, I think, the positive to take away from this. Let's see here. Tac. Much more fun last half an hour to watch than the rest of that game, huh?
Yeah. I wish we didn't concede a goal.
Yeah, that was disappointing and unnecessary, And we almost conceded again after Zimmerman got cooked. Remember? That was like, oh my God.
He got nutmegged by a U23 New Zealand play.
From Wellington Phoenix, guys. Wellington Phoenix. Okay, let's be honest about these levels. But anyways, so we got the 4-1 win. I was saying earlier, I think we played better against France than we did against New Zealand.
It's different, right? Two games that are completely different. One is a game where you're taking the initiative and you have to actually play, while the other one is more like soaking up pressure, defending. I think because this team lacks talent, no offense, but it is true, they are probably better. They're going to look better against better opponents.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, it does. There's a lot of defensive players too, right? A lot of athletes and defensive players instead of creators. The creators we do have, we leave on the bench for way too long. But 4-1 win, started off with winning a penalty. Nathan Harriel did well, I thought, to win that penalty. Georgi Mihailovic slots it home, his only contribution to the team on the day. And then the second one was off a set piece, sort of scrappy, bouncing around a bit in the box, and Zimmerman was there to, touch it home. And then the third goal was from Paxten Aaronson, right? It was a cutback. Who did the cutback to Paxten? It was Yao, right?
Griffin Yao.
Griffin Yao, who, by the way, I thought was the best player on the day.
He was really good. Taylor Booth was also very aggressive when he came on the ball, taking on defenders. I thought
creating chances.
I still think Griffin Yao and Booth are our best wingers here. They should be starting on the wing.
Wherever you want, they need to be on the field. Like if that means taking off Georgie and Duncan, do that. Because the problem is if you play them on the wing, but you have Duncan up top and Georgie as the 10, who are you creating for? Right? That was the problem.
We did look a lot better once Mihailovic and Duncan Maguire were subbed out. That was a big difference maker right there.
Massive difference maker. It changed the whole game. We just started looking like a team that was playing soccer because even the goals we scored, they were scrappy goals. They were nice to score them and we needed them, but it felt more like we were taking advantage of New Zealand's mistakes than creating anything ourselves, you know. And then Busio got a sort of a rebound finish, not a rebound, but a deflected finish as well. So that made it 3-0. And then Paxten scored the last one with the cutback from Yao. So now our goal difference is what?
0.
Not
And theirs is -2. It's going to depend on how the France game goes, but we want France to trash Guinea. Because if they trash Guinea, worst case scenario, we can even qualify losing. I mean, I don't want us to lose. We got to go for the win.
We need to be beating Guinea.
But I'm just saying, for our sake, in case we suck against Guinea, we want France to trash Guinea 3-0 or more. That's what we want. And then, obviously, we have to go into the game. But the way things stand now, I would say we probably qualify with a draw in the next game.
Yeah, I mean, we have a 90% chance of qualifying after getting that win, unless Guinea beats France. Then it's wide open because now everybody has 3 points. If Guinea beats France, everyone's got 3 points. I think that's unlikely. But
I'm going to put that game on too, just to keep track of it.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. But yeah, it was one of those games that's like, I was in your live stream a lot. We were talking about other things. That's how boring it was. It felt like neither team really was doing much, and then we just took advantage of some mistakes and finished. Jeff Bezos says, if you had to bet, who do you guys think will be the new USMNT manager? That's hard to know, Jeff. I think if I had to put money, I would probably put it on Renard.
Wait, money of what you want or what you think?
No, who will be? If I'm going to bet money, I think some of the bigger guys like a Thomas Tuchel or Maurizio Pochettino or Joachim Löw, they might not be interested in taking a national team job right now in their careers. Even if you come with them with a lot of money, they could say, sure, for that money, I'll do it. But you go to Renard, forget 10 million. You go to Renard with 4 million, he'll probably take the job. I would be very surprised if Renard doesn't take the job. And I don't even think Renard is necessarily that high on their list. But I'm just saying, if I had to bet money, I'd put Renard just above Pochettino, Tuchel, and Löw. But I think of the big name, Ancelotti or Zidane. I mean, those are the big names.
Here's my concern. Based on what we heard, and we already reported on this, they're wrapping up the meetings the next week or so, right?
Sure.
Hervé Renard is definitely not talking to U.S. soccer in the middle of the Olympics.
He may not, but he may have an intermediary talking to him. An agent can still talk.
Maybe an agent, yeah, just figuring out like numbers and everything. That's true.
I mean, I know Nigeria and Egypt have both been pursuing him despite the Olympics, So it's possible that you could still talk to him. But it's so early on in the process, Jeff, that it's hard to say, who we think is going to get it. It's so early. But like we reported several times, although some other YouTubers might not think we have journalistic sources.
It's not YouTubers. It's just that weirdo, Jake.
That one, yes, Jake Landau. Look, we have been hearing that they are talking to big names and pursuing them, and that there actually is interest. Don't let anybody tell you that nobody wants this job and that we have to hire an MLS manager. That is, by the way, and a lot of the stuff, I've said this before, but from what we're hearing, almost everything that mainstream media is reporting, Patrick Vieira, Titi Henry, Steve Cherundolo, all of that is completely made up nonsense. And that U.S. Soccer has not leaked that to anybody. And that all of that is just nonsense for clicks, which I believe.
Or agents planting information through people to hype up their because I just want to make it clear that sometimes people can report on it based on what an agent tells them. It could be a load of crap, but
yeah. So I don't know, Jeff, but if I had to put money, I'd probably give Renard the edge just because I think he would take the job, if you brought him 4 or 5 mil, because nobody else is offering him that. And it's an interesting project. It's a much more interesting project than Nigeria or Egypt. Right. So I think that's Tuchel, Pochettino. Who do you put, Tac?
I think the front runners for this, if we're going to be very realistic about who they're talking to, probably Patrick Vieira is probably the most likely one. in terms of not that I want, but just like realistic. Um, I don't know, man. It's kind of tricky. It's very tricky about who wants the job and who doesn't, how much they're willing to pay, even though they said money's not a problem. Who do they talk to? I don't take anything what the media says seriously. What we do know is that Cherundolo is not really an option right now, unless they really start going down their list.
No.
Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I think I'm also tired of speculating because it's just kind of like,
Well, it's speculating based on no information, right? Speculating if there's like actual good quality information, that's different, but it's just not any high quality information. So we don't know, Jeff. Hard to say at this point what's happening. What are your thoughts on Token as a future left back? I've said this before, guys. I don't really rate John Token. I mean, to be fair, I don't rate any of the other options either. Caleb Wiley right now, to me, has felt like he's stagnated. We'll see how he does in Strasbourg. And sure, he might, what's his name from Palermo? Christopher Lund or Christopher Hansen Lund. They all to me seem about a similar level. So as a future backup left back, I can see it. I don't really get the Token hype. I don't really get it myself. He seems very average. A-Rob is our starter for the foreseeable future. I haven't seen very much of him, but somebody, if you want to keep an eye on potentially, is Peyton Miller from the New England Revolution. 16, just made his debut, got an assist, had some good moments. I'm going to watch more of him before I draw a definitive conclusion. Early thoughts are that he looks like a very fast left back, maybe not the greatest and a good crosser of the ball. Maybe not the greatest in combination right now, but it's way too early to say.
Guinea is outplaying France, by the way.
I'm seeing that.
10 minutes. So it's not a minute. It's 10 minutes of the game. They're outplaying France.
Yeah. Mort is saying, what is everyone's thoughts on Kremasky's performance? I've said this before. Kremasky should be with the under-20s right now. He should be with the under-20s right now, and Luna should be here. I didn't think he offered anything as one of the subs, personally. I thought he actually made some pretty poor decisions and had opportunities where he did poorly. He's fine. He's young. He should be with the under-20s. He's an under-20 eligible player. That's where he should be, in my opinion. I still it sticks in my craw that Luna's not here. But if Guinea wins, do our odds drop? Yes, Lewis. So if Guinea wins today, it is a wide open field. Because if Guinea wins, then everybody has 3 points. And both games, it's actually going to be quite exciting, that final game against Guinea. If France wins, it will still be an exciting game, and we should want to win it. But oh, yeah, Nathaniel Brown as well from Marmota. Yes, Nathaniel Brown is it Frankfurt that he plays for?
Well, even if Guinea ties, it's wide open.
Yeah, if Guinea ties, they have 1 point and then 3-3-3,
4-3-3-4. Yeah, it's wide open because if France will face New Zealand, if New Zealand beats France, France is out. France can qualify. Essentially, what happens is if Guinea ties, France and the U.S. could go through the. Well, actually, the U.S. could be eliminated with the draw. Yeah, look, if France doesn't win, it's wide open.
Yeah,
wide open.
Yeah, so we kind of need France to win today for our help. We will do player grades. Yes, we will. Tac, positives and negatives. Obviously, first positive is 3 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any other positives?
The goal differential. Before the game, I thought we were going to win just 1-0 tight score. We got 4 goals. Whether they were scrappy or penalty, it doesn't matter. We got 4 goals, and we kind of flipped the goal differential, which we were far behind New Zealand. We scored 4 goals on them, and now we're in second place due to goal differential. So I think that was a big positive. And if you want me to just piggyback right on that, I want to also give another positive. If this wasn't enough evidence, this was a game that no one really looked terrible. I mean, besides Duncan Maguire, no one looked even Mihailovic didn't look terrible. Just looked mediocre.
I mean, if you do nothing, in my opinion, you look terrible.
Well, mediocre against a terrible opponent, which if you put it into perspective, it's a terrible performance. But if you take away the fact that the opponent was horrible, he was just mediocre. It just exposed the fact that they should not be starting. The starters there should probably be Taylor Booth and Griffin Yao have to start.
Yeah.
For the second consecutive game, they were really good off the bench. Really
Even
good.
If that means Paxten plays as a false 9.
Yeah, which
Paxten as a false 9, Booth at the 10, and then Yao and Paredes on the wings. That's what I would be doing. And then if Busio's injured, you just have McGlynn there.
Yeah.
Kremasky can sit next to Georgie. But they won't do that. He'll start Georgie and Duncan again in the final game. It's annoying. But anyways, other positives. I mean, I want to say obviously the substitutes that came on, not all of them, but two of them looked really good. Yao and Booth looked like they changed the way we attacked. So that's no Paredes should sit. Wolf for who? I mean, we didn't bring enough good attackers on this team. I don't think Paredes was amazing today, but he's still better than Georgie or Duncan. Like, who are you going to start instead of Paredes?
Unless he wants to start Mihailovic.
That's what I'm saying. If you're starting Mihailovic or Paredes, who you gonna start? Right? So Wolf says Booth and Yao on the wing. Okay, so then who starts at the 10 and who starts up top? Tell me that.
Paredes hasn't been good going forward, but the difference between him and Mihailovic is that Paredes is actually doing a lot of work on defense. I mean, I'm not a big fan of using that as an excuse for poor performances up top, but he's literally tracking back with Harrio while, Mihailovic is playing like a 10 and just kind of floating around and not really doing much defensive work while also not providing much going forward. They're going to talk about getting an assist today and scoring off a penalty kick, but again, it was very mediocre overall performance from
He didn't
Mihailovic.
get the assist.
He got an assist for one of the goals.
Not Walker's.
No, which was the one?
It was no. He didn't. He got a set piece on Walker's goal, but it wasn't an assist because it bounced around for a long time before Zimmerman put it in.
So Zimmerman, did he not get it with Busio? Was Busio off a rebound?
Busio was Paredes. Paredes laid it off to Busio. Busio hit it, and then it came back out to Busio, and he hit it again.
Okay, so apparently they credited him for the Zimmerman goal and assist, which doesn't make sense.
That's nonsense. That's not an assist. But guys, Busio pulled a hamstring. We don't know if he's going to be able to play. But you guys have to tell me if you don't like Paredes starting, then are you okay? Who are you going to start? Let's say you put Paxten as the 10 or as the false 9. Then one of Duncan or Mihailovic has to start over Paredes. So also Paredes created two of our best chances against France. I agree. Paredes was not good today. And again, there are reasons why we should have had other players on this roster, but I'd still rather have Paredes out there than either Mihailovic or Duncan.
So hear me out. Assuming Busio's out, right? Let's assume that. Maybe you can go with Harrio, Miles, Zimmerman, Token. Tessman and Dietz can play a double pivot there, which is kind of defensive too much. And Jack McGlynn with more freedom to create.
No, I don't love that.
No.
I don't think there's anything wrong with putting Paxten as the false 9, Booth at the 10, and then having Paredes. Why? Otherwise, you're just putting a defensive midfielder on. You might as well have Kevin Paredes play as a defensive. Also, what people don't forget is that Paredes did a lot of work while Harrio was pushing forward. When Harrio pushed forward, Paredes would drop back and cover his position. There was a lot of that.
I don't think Paredes was as bad as some people are saying. Yes, he's not offering much going forward, but I'll tell you one thing too, which is really funny about soccer. If you go back to the France game, Paredes hit two really good crosses that Token and Paxten hit the header. And if he gets an assist there, all of a sudden everyone's saying he can attack while he kept tracking back. There are moments in the game that he almost looks like a right back.
Yeah.
Or a right wing back, essentially.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of work helping out Harrio against France. And I agree, he wasn't the most effective going forward today. I'd still 100% rather have Paredes on the field than either Mihailovic or Duncan. The other option they're saying is if Busio gets sent home, depending on how bad it is, then Josh Atencio could be his replacement. Fingers crossed, because Josh Atencio is an alternate. I'd rather
use the alternate anytime?
You can use them anytime, but only if somebody gets sent home. You can't bring them in for 1 or 2 games. They have to replace them in the roster, right? So that's the alternative option. If you bring Atencio, France, so close. Then you could maybe do something more with like Paxten, McGlynn, or Tanner, McGlynn, and Atencio. But even then, who's your creative midfielder there? I would still have Booth in that position, guys. He can be more creative than the alternate options, and I'd have Paxten at the 9.
Also, he's not going to play Atencio if he brings him in. He's going to put Kermaski.
Yeah, of course he is. So, yeah. Other positives to think about. I thought the 2 fullbacks played well today. Token and Harrio did their jobs on both sides of the ball. Defensively did well, offered a lot going forward. Look, I don't rate Token in the long term, but he played well today. And to be fair, he played pretty well against France too.
Same with Harrio. Harrio, I don't
Yeah.
rate him, but I would argue he was actually one of our best players today.
Yeah. Yeah. Harrio was very good today. Very good. And again,
Mhm.
it's New Zealand, but as far as this game goes, yes, Harrio was probably one of our best players. Him, Token, and then the subs were probably our best players today.
Yeah, I thought Testament did his job. Wasn't fantastic. Did his job. Like, didn't
Did
really
okay. Yeah.
misplace any passes. Got a few good clearances. Griffin Yao and Booth were really good. Mihailovic and Duncan were very mediocre, to say the least. Paredes wasn't great either, especially going forward. But again, doing a lot of the defensive work, tracking back. We'll get to player ratings and we'll talk about specifics very soon.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, so those, I think that's it on the positives, really. Negatives, I guess the starting lineup was not great. We also never looked like we were going to overwhelm a terrible New Zealand team. So I guess that's an issue. To me, if a team is this bad and you have a good cohesive team that can go far in the tournament, you have to be overwhelming them. And we didn't overwhelm them. We took advantage of some mistakes to score some very scrappy goals, but it was never, at no point was it looked like, oh, there's this clear gap. I mean, individually, yes, you could see the clear gap between the players, but as a team, we didn't look that cohesive. And I think that's worrying,
We
specifically the
looked
first
more
game.
in the final 30 minutes.
Yeah. Again, it's like our players off the bench that this Mitrovic guy doesn't want starting. Even Tim Howard was like saying, like, you got to start these two, Booth and Yao, right? So
Another another negative is I think the players got a bit too comfortable with the lead
yeah,
at times.
yeah,
We talked about how goal differential is very important here, very important. And it seemed like our players were just like, it's okay. We're getting a 3-0 win or 4-0 at the time. And we even conceded a goal where it was a nice hit from the player from New Zealand. I don't know his name.
yeah.
But we gave him a lot of time and space in the box,
Garbage.
dude. He had time to take the first touch,
Yeah,
turn, and hit that strike. Just because you have a 4-0 lead, you shouldn't be giving them that time and space in the box. The veteran, we got a little too complacent. I'm sure we won't do that if we have a 1-0 lead or anything. But again, the goal differential mattered.
yeah.
Could come back to bite us. I hope not, but it
It
could.
could, depending on what happens today. France do look better now. They've looked a little better these last.
Mhm.
Guinea are just bunkering. My worry is if Guinea pulls a draw, they could just bunker. And they look very athletic, right? Like it looks like a very athletic team that like Paxten and Paredes will get pushed around, you know?
Yeah, they have also some good players in the Guinea side. What's his
Navi
name? Nabi
Keita.
Keita. They have Toure that plays for Le Havre. He played with Emmanuel Sabi. Moriba from Leipzig doesn't play much for Leipzig, sure, but he was at one point a big prospect, right, for Barcelona. Um, but yeah, we'll see. Guinea is the worst thing for us is Guinea winning. That's the worst one.
Yeah, yeah, we can't have that. We need France to win this. Even if it's a narrow win, at least it makes it 6-3-3-0. And then
Mm-hmm.
if we beat Guinea, our goal difference is still way better than New Zealand's, right? We are at 0. New Zealand is -2, right?
-2, yes.
Yeah, -2. So then it's in our hands if France wins. 17. Please do a Trump impression about today's game. No, I'm not gonna. I'm not in the mood for impressions. But yeah, look, it's hard. It's tournament soccer, right? It's tournament soccer. You get your points. That's what really matters at the end of the day. And so good for us. We got our points, built up our goal difference. Guinea will be the big test now. At least we have to get out of this group. And if we get out of this group, we line up with Argentina, likely, right?
Yeah, and Argentina has looked really shaky, man. Like I before the tournament started, I would say we would have like a very low percentage of I would say like 5% chance of advancing against Argentina, but they lost to Morocco, a good Moroccan side, I must say. But today against Iraq, it was 1-1 at halftime. And in the second half, yeah, they got bailed out by Town. Some very good individual moments of brilliance. They do have players like Almada. They have Julian Alvarez there. Otamendi's on the back in the back line. But Argentina has looked shaky. Don't get me wrong; they're still the clear favorites if we play them. They
Yeah.
are the clear favorites.
Especially
But
with some of the
just like
players we're starting, dude.
yeah, but then just because like Thierry Henry is a mediocre coach, we've seen that. Mascherano is also a mediocre coach. So I'll say I don't like our odds against Argentina, but I think there's a chance there. There is a possibility that we can knock them out.
Is there
Not
a
high.
chance Argentina could get second?
There is a chance still. They're going to play Ukraine in the last game. They're in first right now. Everyone has 3 points in their group.
Yeah.
They play the last. They could get eliminated. Could happen.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see what happens there. But mostly it's just get out of our group and then we can reevaluate. Real quick, shout out to the under 20s, topped their group. So on Wednesday, guys, we're going to have New Guinea in the morning. And not New Guinea. It's just Guinea, not New Guinea. I'm sorry.
There's a New Guinea?
I'm getting mixed up with Papua New Guinea, which is in Australia. It's in, what's the name of that confederation? Oceania. And so in the morning, we're going to have New Guinea, Jesus. And then in the evening, we're going to have, who are we playing? The U20s. Do you know offhand?
We don't know yet. It could be, I think El Salvador might be one of them, or Guatemala. It should be easy opponent. It should.
Whoever it is, if we win that game, we're qualified for the under 20 World Cup next year. Right. So,
yes,
we'll cover both games. Obviously, it's also not as late, so we can do a post game for the U20s. And
it's at 5 p.m.
5 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. So what's going to happen that day is we play Guinea at 1 p.m. So 1 to 3 p.m. live watch along. And then 3 to 4 p.m. will be the post game. We take like a 45-minute break. And then we go to that watch along from 5 to 7 and then 7 to 8 post game. So you guys are going to get tired of us on Wednesday. There's a lot.
I know. We might have to talk about stepsisters more.
No. Once again, I'm just saying that I do not endorse anyone dating their stepsister. You can do as you wish, but I'm not for it. Just to
Straight
make that
Red
clear.
endorses it, not Tac.
Not me. If you ask for my advice, I'm strictly against it.
Let's do player ratings.
Okay.
Schulte. Some people are saying Schulte should have saved that goal. I don't think so.
No.
I didn't really see that. I don't think that goal is on Schulte at all. Schulte looked a little shaky with his feet at times, but overall, I thought he was solid enough today. I think I give him a 7. He didn't have a ton of saves to make. He had that one early save that actually mattered quite a bit. It was a deflection, and he managed to get it up. Yeah, I'd say 7 is fair for Schulte. I don't think he had a ton to do, but he was above average. He did his job, I guess.
I'm giving Schulte a 6, above average. Can I just answer one thing? Untouchable said, what if you're already dating the girl and then your parents get married? Well, in that case, I would tell, don't date the mother of your son's girlfriend.
That's on the parents.
That's on the parents. Don't, like, if your son is dating this girl and then you start to date and marry that girl's mother, don't do that, right? It goes both ways. So... Yeah. Or guy, girl, whatever. Like, you can interchange that. You get the point. But I'm giving Schulte a 6.
Yeah. AR says maybe Paredes is the left back we're looking for in the senior team. I don't know about his ceiling as a winger in a top 5 league. Yeah, I mean, toward the end of the Wolfsburg season, they did play him as a left back. I think that kind of like Tessman might end up as a center back. I do think long term he might be a better, because defensively he's looked pretty good against France and he looked also good against New Zealand. He doesn't get beat 1v1 very often. So you're right. He may end up being the left back we need. There are plenty of options not named John Token. But right now, it's a battle of mid for all of our backup left back options. It's a major battle of mid. Tuesday, I'm sorry, you're correct. It's Tuesday, guys. Both are on Tuesday, not Wednesday. Both the under 20s and the Guinea game are on Tuesday. Thank you for clarifying, Cole. Nathan Harriel. I'll give Harriel an 8. Won the penalty. Was good going forward, good defensively, did his job.
I want to give him a 9. Won the penalty. He also had a shot that was deflected. It was a good shot on target. Defensively, I don't remember him making any mistakes. He also was the one that got the shot off for Zimmerman's goal off the rebound. I'm pretty sure it was Harriel. I'm giving him a 9 today. Earned the penalty too, as you said.
Yeah. Walker. I thought Walker was generally quite solid today in this game, apart from getting completely megged in the box, which is embarrassing and could have led to a goal if McGlynn hadn't been cleaning up. I was going to give Walker an 8, but because of that, I'm bumping him down to a 6.5.
So I was going to give Walker an 8. Overall, he was a 7 to me. That was his performance, a 7. He was good. He gets a 1-point bump for scoring, and then he loses that 1 point for getting nutmegged by a U23 New Zealand player. That's something even tactical managers shouldn't get in a game. Get nutmegged by, that's disrespect. You shouldn't be nutmegged by a New Zealand player.
Yeah, I think when Walker has to defend 1v1, that's when he really has issues, as we saw against Gareth Bale. He's good at like jumping in the air, clearing the ball, and he generally reads the game okay. But you put him 1v1 against a quick player, it's not good.
He also has issues when you tell him to pass the ball, like to kick
Yes,
it properly.
that's the other big issue with
Yeah.
both him and Miles. Although Miles was way worse than Walker yet again. In both games, Walker at least outperformed Miles. You go
Mhm.
first on Miles.
I'm giving Miles a 4, below average. Had a few bad giveaways that I think he just did. Guinea score?
No, but they got
No.
close. They look pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Miles had a few bad giveaways that if it's a better team, you get punished for. So just because you got lucky that we were facing a better opponent and you didn't get punished by it, a lot of people are going to forget about the moments that he was shaky. But again, Miles, I'm giving him a 4, below average performance. I expect more from him too. He was literally in the Copa America roster, the
Yeah.
18. You need to be standing out. And he
And
looks
this is New
horrible on the ball.
Zealand. He gave the
Yes.
ball away at least twice in dangerous areas. And to follow up against France, I'm giving him a 3. I'm going harsher on the overage players than everybody else because you're the overage guy. You were supposed to be here because you have added value. Miles has been one of the worst players so far for us in this tournament, and he's the overage player. And like I said last time, there's a reason he was a free agent and nobody in Europe wanted to pay him more than a few $100,000 a year to play soccer. He's just not a good player. Just because Greg Berhalter loves you doesn't change who you are as a player. For me, that's a 3 on Miles. I'll go first on Token. I'll give Token an 8 as well. I don't remember him getting an assist, but he definitely created chances. He had one for Paxten that he should have done better with, I think. And I thought, again, defensively solid, good going forward. I'll give Token an 8 as well.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8. I gave Harrio a 9. I thought Harrio was more. I thought they both were good, equally as good, but Harrio was more impactful, if that makes any sense. Penalty kick earned, rebound for the goal. So I'm giving him an 8. I thought Token was good today.
Yeah. You go first on Tanner.
I'm going to give Tanner definitely above average. I don't think he was average. I thought he was above average. He was ball secure, found his passes, barely made any mistakes, had some good clearances. He has good reading of the game. I'll tell you that, like interception-wise, positioning. I'll give Tanner a 6.5. I don't think it was anything amazing, but it was good. Good.
Yeah, I think 6.5 is fair for Tanner. Average performance. Average.
Above average. Above average, yeah.
No, above average, but as in like for his what we expect of him, I think that's fair. Good, not great. Good, not great is what I mean. Good, not great.
Good.
Good, not great. Busio's a tough one because before he got injured, I thought he was also good, but not great. I know he got the goal.
Yeah.
He scored. It's like it's hard sometimes when you like rebound, you're there and you hit it and it bounces off 2 players and goes in. It's good. It's not, you don't get quite the same credit, in my opinion, as like a nicely scored goal, but he did score. I think 7 is fine. Good.
Yeah. I guess like similar to Tanner, he was doing fine, but then he gets a little bump for the goal. So 7. I think that's fair.
Yeah. And then you want to go first on, Georgie. So I was going to give Georgie a 2, and I'm going to give him a 3 for scoring his penalty, which I think is no great feat, let's be honest. You scored your penalty, good. I mean, you just have to score it. But other than that, he was invisible.
Can we also talk about how Mihailovic delivery for the goal that led to Zimmerman's goal, it wasn't a good delivery.
No, it wasn't even good delivery.
No.
It was a terrible delivery. Duncan kind of craned his neck to try to get something on it, and then it sort of bounced around, and then Zimmerman was more alert than the New Zealand center backs.
I'm going to give Mihailovic, I'm going to be nicer. I'll give him a 4. 1, because he converted the penalty. Credit to that. He went there and he scored. And also because throughout the game, he wasn't terrible. He was just very mediocre, invisible, didn't do much. So I'm giving him a 4 just to be kind to him, but it wasn't good enough.
Like I said, I'm getting harsher on these overage players who come here supposed to be adding value, and you look like one of the worst players. Paxten. You go first on Paxten.
Scored. Looked dangerous in a few occasions. Very active. Lost the ball a few times. But again, I'm okay with a player giving the ball away or losing the ball up top when he's trying to make things happen, right? That'll happen. I guess I'm going to give Paxten probably a 7. That'll be my overall rating for him, a 7.
Yeah, there was one in the second half. I don't know if you remember this. Booth does really well to get in behind, and he cuts it back to Paxten. Paxten fakes his shot, takes a touch away from the defender, but it's a heavy touch, and it kind of loses the opportunity, and so he can't shoot anymore, and then he ends up having to dish it to Yao, but Yao's got 3 guys on him, and he ends up blocking the shot. I'm like, a better touch there, and that's a Paxten goal. I'm going to give him a 6.5 because I thought he was active and involved, and he did score, but I think he could have done better at times. Jeff Carey says, I would give Geography Jeff a 5 and Spicy Jeff a 6. I'll do better next time. Tac, will you wear a blonde wig for me? Wow, it's getting really... Sorry, Jeff. I don't think that's how that works. Where were we? Okay, Duncan, 2.
Kind of useless today. Probably our worst player.
Yeah, and he's the striker. Has been two games now. Oh, France! Oh, saved!
Almost. But Duncan, the thing with Duncan too is we got to take into account one thing we didn't talk about with Mihailovic, which plays against him. We looked a lot better when him and Duncan were out. Mihailovic and Duncan, when they were out, the team looked better in the final 30 minutes. You talked about the opportunity with Paxten. We had a lot of opportunity. We should have scored another 2 or 3 goals in those final 30 minutes. I'm giving also Duncan a 2 just to match your rating. Could give him a 1. Like, just useless. Like, completely useless.
Yeah.
Just like all you can give Duncan is like good hustle. That's all it is. Good hustle. That's it.
Yeah, but that's the bare minimum.
That's just the bare minimum. But I just like not good. I'm sorry, not good enough.
It's wild that like every coach brings some head scratcher picks in U.S. soccer. That felt like a Berhalter pick, you know.
When he's starting him.
Yeah, I'm starting him. It's wild. It's wild. Let's see. And then the subs. Okay, so the subs were, the first one was McGlynn.
No, the first was for Busio. Dietz, right?
No, it was McGlynn. Oh, no, you're right. It was Dietz. No, it was McGlynn.
No, yeah. McGlynn, yes.
McGlynn. It was McGlynn for Busio. I thought McGlynn was good. I don't think he was amazing. Again, at times with McGlynn, you saw the like speed of play goes up or he's under real pressure and he struggles a bit. But I still thought his, range was good. His set pieces were okay. He set up some chances, hit the post. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, we have to go back. We forgot Paredes.
Oh, yeah. How did we miss Paredes?
I'm giving him a 5.
5, yeah.
5. Good work defensively. Didn't offer much going forward.
No, going forward, no. And I know he wins a lot of fouls, but sometimes it feels unnecessary. Like he turns away to protect the ball and force the foul. It's kind of like, dude, you can do that once in a while. At some point, you have to be able to get past your man or at least keep possession,
McGlynn that you were saying, I thought McGlynn was good today. Again, that left foot, you give him time and space, he hits those long shots. Also, in terms of like crossing ability, playmaking ability, I thought he was better than like Mihailovic, for example. Way better than Mihailovic. I thought McGlynn was good, but again, he's very slow. And when put in uncomfortable situations in tight spaces, he's not very press resistant. That's the overall point. I still think McGlynn has earned a 7. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, that's what I gave him also. Yeah. Sam Hayes, I'll read this, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is DeMarcus Beasley erasure. Best left foot in U.S. soccer history.
Breck Shea was left-footed, dude. Breck Shea was left-footed.
Breck Shea and DeMarcus Beasley are still ahead of... Look, McGlynn is not even a senior team player. And let's be honest, having a good left foot is nice, but you have to be able to play at tempo. And there's no evidence yet that Jack McGlynn can play at tempo, and there's probably a reason he's still in Philly and might be for a while. And then, so that first one was Dietz. Dietz was poor, man. I thought Dietz on the goal was partially responsible for the goal. Why they went to a back 3, I don't really understand. Like, why did Mitrovic do that?
I think he was resting Harrio, and he doesn't have another right back.
Yeah, so Miles was playing right back, which was
or like more like a wide center back. What Dietz looks a little heavy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know he can pass the ball, but that was not good defending.
Yeah, I would say probably a 4 for Dietz.
Yeah, definitely 4. Booth and Yao, I'm going to give the same to. Both of them get an 8. Because even though they didn't score or assist, they came on, they looked dangerous, they created chances. Booth had one really nice moment, I don't know if you remember it, where he gets the ball in his own half, actually, in his own third.
Blows by the opponent.
Right? And beats his man, keeps going, puts the cross there, or then slips in behind. I don't know who he slipped in. I think it was Paxten. He slipped in, and then Paxton's cross. There was nobody there to finish it. That was a really nice moment. And Booth also had that layoff for Paxten in the second. Like in 20 minutes or so between them, they created 3 or 4 chances at least.
Yeah, I don't have anything to complain about those two. They were super dangerous. When you're playing as a forward, that's what you want. Guys that create chances are goal dangerous, and they always look dangerous when they're
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
first game too. Even against France, they look better, explosive, taking on defenders. I hope they're starting, but I don't know. I don't trust Mitrovic for that. I think I'm also giving an 8, by the way. I think the last one is Kremaski.
Yeah, I'm giving him a 4.
Yeah, just the thing with Kremaski is we've seen it with Inter Miami. Shouldn't be here. He's a hard worker in that midfield. The first touch ain't great. Not a creator. He just hustles in the midfield. Sure, better than Duncan Maguire, but I mean, look, people talk a lot of the hype from him is basically because of two things. It's dual national, where Argentina literally told him go play for the
Yeah.
US. They told him
Yeah.
go play.
Mascherano was like, no.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I recommend you go and play for the US. He's like, why? And Mascherano's like, like, so that's one, and the other one with Kremaski is he's playing for Inter Miami with Messi, and Mr. Don Garber wants to promote MLS. So I think there was
no, that's a Messi pick for sure.
It's the Messi effect. If anyone's wondering, I'm going to give him a 4. It might be a bit harsh, but it's just not a player that shouldn't have been
harsh.
there.
He played a 4.
Why didn't we have like a Diego Luna that can actually make a? We're talking about like benching Mihailovic and the lack of options there.
Yeah,
Kremaski is not that useful right now.
No, and you know how useful he would be for the U20s?
Oh,
He'd
a lot,
be a good U20 player.
Very good, yeah.
Right? Like Nico Shakiris, right? Like he's, so it's like, why? There's at least 3 guys on this roster that should not be here for Diego instead of Diego Luna. That's Mihailovic, Duncan, and Kremaski. That's at least 3 that I can think of, and there's probably more, to be honest. Diego Luna should be one of the first names on this roster.
Yeah, those based off position, yeah.
Right, based off positioning. So, let's see. Yeah, that was it. Mitrovic. I'm going to give Mitrovic a 7 because he got the win, and we needed the win, and that's mostly what mattered. But that was a awful starting lineup. His faith in Mihailovic and Duncan, I don't understand, and I still think when Busio came off, he should have started by bringing on Booth. Booth should have come on. Like, why he waits so long to bring on Yao and Booth is really bizarre to me. But it smacks of Greg Berhalter. It smacks of being a Serbian Greg Berhalter. I also don't like the fact that Mihailovic is of Serbian descent and they work together in Chicago. And so it feels like there are other reasons that he prefers him, because it can't be from on-field performance. Definitely can't be from on-field performance. To me, Yao deserves a transfer to a better league. So, by the way, real quick, there's reports today that Anderlecht is interested in Yao, which is at least a better Belgium team than Westerlo. Oh, we lost Tac. I also feel like he should be called into the national team for a friendly. Do you think Paxten will get called into the senior team in September? So, okay, a lot to unpack there. I'll start with Yao. I think Anderlecht is a good move for Yao. We lost you there for a sec, Tac.
I'm back.
Because it's still the Belgian league, but it's higher up. He'll have more chances on the ball. I wouldn't mind maybe even an Eredivisie team taking a chance on him. But I agree, he needs to probably leave Westerlo and push himself. And by the way, get the fuck out of DC United. Any kid that's trying to make a career, Mattia Kimbani is completely being ignored there as well. There are kids at DC, Christian Fletcher, right? Not being used at all at DC. They have no plan, and Griffin Yao complained about this. He's like, there's no plan at DC. They don't know what they're doing, so I left, and now he's balling out. Good for him. He's not a world-class player or anything, but he's doing well. Do I think Paxten will get... I don't think Paxten is ready for the senior team. To be honest, I don't really see anybody in this. Maybe goalkeepers, right? Although Schulte... kind of stock has dropped a little bit. So maybe Gaga, depending on what happens. If Gaga is starting for Strasbourg and playing okay or well, he should definitely be in the national team. Maybe not starting, but he should be there. Trying to think who else.
I mean, there's a case for, like, if Tyler Adams is injured, there's a case for Tenor as a depth piece, like a 26-man in the roster.
Yeah.
If Tyler's out, like battling with like Leonard Maloney. Outside of that, I mean, Taylor Booth, if he's playing, he can definitely fight for that fourth winger spot. He can fight for it.
him or Yao could fight for that fourth winger spot with Brendan Aaronson. It's essentially who they're fighting, right? So those guys are the only ones that have really impressed me. But look at this, guys. I don't see anybody here that can challenge for a top two. Like if you look at the 11 positions and you say top two in each position, goalkeeper is the only position that's really up for grabs. Maybe a center back, but our center backs have looked awful. So who? Like we knew this, right? There are age eligible guys like a Jalen Neal who could maybe fight for that fourth center back spot, but he's not in this roster. Let's see what Noah Kai Banks looks like this season, right? Noah Kai Banks looks like he's going to get some starts. Leonard Maloney is still involved. Greg doesn't like him, but he should be an option. Testament at center back. Yeah, I don't see it. Not yet. But unless he starts playing there for his club.
Yeah, Maloney being ignored is kind of funny because he held his own in the Bundesliga for the entire season for a mid-table team. He has that versatility that he can play the six, center back, left back. It's kind of weird that just like completely ignored. I know he's not by any means, he's not a brilliant six. Probably shouldn't start for us. If you have Tyler Adams and Johnny, you're not going to play Leonard, but not having him at all, it's kind of weird.
Feels like the kind of guy you bring on when you're in the lead, last 10 minutes, defend well, someone like that. So what did you give Mitrovic? Did you give him a 7 also?
Yeah, I'm just going to give him a 7. I don't feel like thinking much about it. He got a 4-1 win, so you got to get a credit for that. There's a lot of things I didn't like about I didn't like how we got complacent, and that's a little bit on the coach. The coach has to keep demanding from the players. I'll give him a 7. It's like you can't give the guy a poor rating when you got a 4-1 win.
Sure.
But it wasn't perfect. But yeah, I'll give Mitrovic a 7.
Mac Ryan, can you talk about what players might? So we just talked about this, right? My votes are Yao, Booth, Aaronson, Tessman, Busio. No, I mean not Busio, Mac. Busio, he's looked okay against that. But we have very, very deep in midfield, right? You've got Gio, you've got Tillman, you've got Musa, you've got McKennie, you've got Adams, you've got Johnny, you've got De La Torre, and you've got Maloney. That's 8 guys right there. So no central midfielders break in for right now, in my opinion. Aaronson, no. Again, same issue. Like, who's he going to play? On the wing, I'd much rather have Booth or Yao. I think the only two there, Booth or Yao, could compete for that fourth winger spot. But nobody else there is even close, in my opinion. As far as goalkeepers, Schulte, we had some hopes for him. He hasn't looked great passing out of the back. We haven't seen Gaga, so it's hard to say. I think a lot depends what happens with Gaga. Where does he go? If he goes and starts for Strasbourg and looks okay in the French league, that might make him our starter, to be honest.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not even starting over Schulte. Is that a coaching mistake, or is he
That's the problem with this coach? It could be.
It could be, yeah. It could be a coaching mistake. I mean, the guy's persisting on Duncan and Mihailovic, but at the same time, yeah, I was gonna say if Gabriel Sonina is far better than Schulte, wouldn't he be starting? He might be. I mean, look at Duncan starting. So
yeah, it's hard to say. Oh
wait,
shit!
Guinea scored.
Oh shit! It might be worth doing.
I mean, Guinea scored, but it was offside. Did they score now?
No, they just scored again. Set piece.
But did it count now? Yep. Oh boy, this is not good actually for us.
We might need to do the watch along the rest of this game.
I have to go eat something, dude. I can leave and come back. But the crazy thing about this is it's how ass Thierry Henry is. And that's what I was saying. Like, we talk about all these accounts. Like, for example, not trying to pick on him right now, but USMNT only was like pushing Thierry Henry last time when he beat us 3-0. We talk about how shit Henry is and how he was against the US. So I don't know, man. This is not good for us, and yeah, whatever.
Yeah, this is not good at all.
Yeah, it means we can win the group.
It means you could win the group. It also means it's going to be potentially 3 points apiece. That final Tuesday is going to be wild. If Guinea wins this game, and we have to play Guinea, and they're going to be on the ascendancy, we could be going 3-3-3-3. This is why we shouldn't have conceded, because goal difference could matter now massively.
Dude, Guinea lost to New Zealand.
What is going on?
That's what Olympics
How?
is so
How did they
unpredictable.
lose against New Zealand?
Olympics is so unpredictable. It's always like this. It's crazy. It's always like this.
Wingcake says TT Henry thinking about Kate Abdo and not concentrated on coaching his team. Guys, TT was shit in Montreal and he was shit in Monaco. This should not surprise anybody. This should not surprise anyone. Are they saying no goal? Stop.
I mean, they haven't confirmed it yet, right?
There's still, it's because there's nothing wrong with that goal. He's completely onside. This would be.
They might just be trying to get it.
Naby Keita's protesting. They better not give France preference just because they're the hosts.
That normally does happen, except for the U.S. in Copa America. There was no preference.
Let me see it again. Let me see the action. It didn't look offside to me, but I'll watch it again if they show it. They're saying it's offside? How? So that's the second goal they've disallowed for Guinea.
They disallowed the goal. Was he off?
I didn't see him. He didn't look off to me.
Are they not showing the line?
No, they're not showing the line because it's France. I mean, I don't mind it, but it seems sketchy.
Yeah. Did anyone see the line? I didn't see the line.
Did anybody in the chat see the line? Some people are saying he was offside, then he got back on, but he was offside when the ball was kicked.
Yeah, I want to go watch this game. I'm going to go watch it.
Why do MLS fans hate the Open Cup so much? Casual.
They don't hate it.
No. Actually, they hate the Leagues Cup more. But there are a few MLS fans that are getting mad at people for boycotting the Leagues Cup. That's probably who he's talking about. Yeah, because most of them actually don't have any real soccer culture. And they don't care about soccer in America. They only care about MLS. If you hate the Open Cup, you're telling me your true colors. It means you don't care about the growth of the game in America. You're just an MLS stan. You don't know much about the history of the game. You don't care about soccer in America if you only love MLS. Okay, the Open Cup is very crucial for keeping lower division soccer. Since we don't have promotion relegation, keeping lower division soccer alive. So but to be fair, most MLS fans are boycotting Leagues Cup. We saw this in Atlanta. We saw this in Orlando, Philly, Austin, Minnesota, and one more team have all made it clear. St. Louis. There are a lot of supporters groups that are officially boycotting, and there are lots of supporters groups that, or not supporters groups, but just fans aren't showing up for it, which is great. So, yes, guys, we'll see what happens. It's still 0-0, which is actually good for us, even though I don't know if that was offside. I'm kind of glad that it was. Hopefully France can, even if they win this 1-0, it helps us a lot. So let's see what happens. Tac, are you doing a 7 things we learned?
Yeah, I'll do. There's a few things here to talk about.
And then tomorrow I'll do the Patreon for the New Zealand game. We'll have the game breakdown. Other than that, have a great weekend, guys. We'll see you all Tuesday for a doubleheader. It's going to be a lot of fun.